Welcome back to our channel, dear friends. Today is a beautiful, bright day to sit down with a warm cup of coffee and dive into the latest twists and turns of our favorite town. I have been watching this show for so long, and every now and then a storyline comes along that just grabs me by the heartstrings and refuses to let go. Right now, I am completely captivated by the unexpected and deeply moving connection forming between Britt Westbourne and young Rocco Falconeri. It is not every day that you see two characters from such different worlds cross paths in such a meaningful way. Rocco is growing up so incredibly fast, blossoming into a young man who pays close attention to the world around him. He has his father Dante's observant eyes and his mother Lulu's enormous heart. Seeing him step up and interact with someone as complex and guarded as Britt is a breath of fresh air, and it has brought a whole new emotional depth to the screen that I just cannot get enough of. When Rocco and Britt finally had the chance to sit down and truly connect, I found myself leaning closer to the television, completely absorbed. Rocco is carrying a heavy weight on his young shoulders, and that weight is his deep concern for his dear friend, Scout Quartermain. We all know that sweet little Scout has been through the absolute ringer lately. Growing up in Port Charles is never easy, but the amount of pain and trauma that young girl is trying to process is enough to break anyone's heart. Rocco sees his friend hurting, and he feels completely powerless to stop it. In his desperation to find someone who might understand, he turns to Britt. It is such a fascinating choice because Britt is not exactly known for being the most warm and cuddly person in town. But children have a remarkable intuition, do they not? Rocco somehow sensed that beneath Britt's prickly exterior lies a woman who knows exactly what it feels like to be broken and lost. As Rocco poured his heart out about Scout's struggles, I watched Britt's face change, and it was a masterclass in unspoken emotion. Britt listened to him with a quiet intensity that brought tears to my eyes. Hearing about a child's suffering struck a very deep, hidden chord within her. We have to remember Britt's own heartbreaking history. She was raised by Caesar Faison and Liesel Obrecht, two people who brought nothing but chaos, danger, and trauma into her childhood. Britt knows firsthand what it is like to be a little girl caught in the terrifying crossfire of adult mistakes and dangerous legacies. When she hears about Scout's pain, she is not just hearing about a friend of Rocco's. She is hearing the echoes of her own tragic youth. The soft, vulnerable side of Britt that she tries so hard to hide from the world suddenly cracked wide open, and it was a genuinely beautiful thing to witness. During their deeply emotional conversation, Britt made a confession that absolutely stopped me in my tracks. She admitted in a very quiet, intense way that she desperately wished she could find a way to take that heavy burden away from the person suffering. She did not speak in grand promises, but the raw emotion in her voice was unmistakable. However, the way she phrased it left a lingering sense of mystery that has been keeping me awake at night. On the surface, it is a beautiful, maternal desire to absorb Scout's pain and protect the young girl from any further heartbreak. But knowing Britt, and knowing the dangerous waters she is currently swimming in, I cannot help but wonder if there is a darker, double meaning to her words. My mind immediately races to the incredible tension between Britt and Anna Devane. Anna has been a relentless force lately, and we all know that when Anna sets her sights on someone, she does not back down. There is a very real possibility that Britt's intense desire to take away the burden is also tangled up in her bitter feud with Anna. Perhaps she feels that neutralizing Anna is the only way to truly protect herself and, by extension, the people she is starting to care about. It is this brilliant ambiguity that makes the writing so compelling right now. I am sitting on the edge of my seat, trying to decipher if Britt is stepping into the role of a selfless savior for a traumatized child, or if she is quietly plotting a ruthless takedown of one of the most formidable women in Port Charles. Maybe, in Britt's complicated mind, it is a little bit of both. What breaks my heart the most is seeing Britt's maternal instincts finally bloom, only to be overshadowed by looming danger. Britt has lost so much in her life. She lost her chance at a normal family. She lost the great loves of her life, and she has always carried this deep, aching emptiness inside her. Now, she is pouring all of that pent-up, fierce love into the idea of saving Scout. She wants to be the protector for Scout that no one ever was for her when she was a little girl. It is such a pure, redemptive motivation. But because Britt is who she is, she does not know how to love or protect in a normal, safe way. She is a woman who operates in extremes, and her desire to help Scout is quickly morphing into something far more intense and unpredictable. And this is where the shadow of Anna Devane becomes absolutely terrifying. While Britt is experiencing this profound emotional awakening and trying to do something genuinely good for a child, Anna is out there quietly and methodically setting a trap. Anna is convinced that Britt is up to no good, and she is determined to catch her in the act. It is so incredibly frustrating to watch as a viewer because I just want to reach through the screen and tell Anna to back off. I want to scream that she is misunderstanding the situation, that Britt's heart is finally in the right place, but Anna is sharp as a tack and fiercely protective of her own vision of justice. She is weaving a web that Britt is walking right into, completely blind to the danger because she is so hyper-focused on Scout. It is a classic, tragic collision course, and I am dreading the moment the trap finally springs. Because of the mounting pressure from Anna's unseen pursuit and the heavy emotional toll of Scout's trauma, Britt is starting to unravel in front of our eyes. She is making new, drastic adjustments to her life and her plans, and I have to tell you, it is making things go entirely too far. Britt is feeling cornered, even if she does not fully realize the extent of Anna's trap yet. And we all know what happens when you push a wounded, fiercely protective woman into a corner. The old Britt persona is starting to claw its way back to the surface, but this time it is fueled by a dangerous mix of maternal desperation and survival instincts. Britt's actions are becoming erratic, and she is crossing lines that she had previously sworn she would never cross again. The most shocking part of this entire ordeal is the sudden, intense obsession that has taken hold of Britt. She is no longer just a concerned bystander. She has become fixated on the idea that she is the only person in the world who can secure a safe future for Scout. This obsession is blinding her to reason and logic. She is proving that she is willing to take explosive, shocking actions to ensure that Scout is pulled out of her current nightmare. I watch her pacing, plotting, and making these wild decisions, and I am just filled with a sense of impending doom. Britt thinks she is being a hero, but her methods are becoming so extreme that she might end up causing the very destruction she is trying to prevent. The road to hell is truly paved with good intentions, and Britt is speeding down that road with her foot flat on the gas. But Britt and Anna are not the only ones driving this runaway train. The most alarming twist in this whole saga is the behavior of the children themselves. Rocco and Scout are not just sitting back and waiting for the adults to save the day. These kids have been through too much, and they are tired of feeling helpless. They are taking matters into their own hands, creating new plans and taking actions that are completely wild and unpredictable. When children who have been traumatized decide to go rogue, the results are always terrifying. They do not have the life experience to understand the consequences of their actions, and they are acting purely on raw emotion and desperation. Seeing Rocco and Scout spiral out of control adds a whole new layer of panic to the situation. Rocco, bless his heart, is trying so hard to be the brave protector, just like his dad, but he is in way over his head. And Scout is hurting so deeply that she is willing to do anything to escape her pain. Their secret actions are acting like a match thrown into a powder keg. Every move they make complicates Britt's desperate plans and inadvertently pushes them closer to the dangerous trap Anna has set. It is a massive, tangled web of good intentions, dangerous secrets, and profound misunderstandings. The adults think they have a handle on the situation, but the truth is, things have completely slipped out of everyone's control. I find myself holding my breath during every single scene, just waiting for the inevitable explosion. How is this all going to end? If Britt takes that final, explosive step to protect Scout, Will she walk right into Anna's trap and lose her freedom, or perhaps even her life? And what will that do to young Rocco? He trusted Britt with his deepest fears. If his actions and his decision to confide in her lead to Britt's downfall, that poor boy is going to carry the guilt for the rest of his life. He will feel responsible for destroying the very person who tried to help his friend. The emotional stakes are higher than they have been in years, and the fallout is going to devastate families across the entire canvas of Port Charles. The beauty of this kind of storytelling is how it captures the messy, complicated, and sometimes destructive nature of love. Britt's journey right now is so deeply human and flawed. She is a woman trying to heal her own inner child by saving another, but she is using all the wrong tools to do it. Anna is driven by a righteous need for justice, but her rigidness might end up destroying a fragile chance at redemption. And the children are just trying to survive in a world that has been incredibly cruel to them. It is traditional American soap opera drama at its absolute finest, reaching right through the screen and giving our hearts a tremendous squeeze. As I sit here reflecting on all these intertwined destinies, I am struck by how the history of Port Charles always seems to repeat itself. The sins and the traumas of the parents inevitably fall upon the children. Scout is bearing the heavy brunt of the Quartermain and Morgan legacies right now, just as Britt bore the terrible weight of Faison's madness. Ironically, Britt is trying to break a cycle of trauma that she herself was a victim of, and it makes you want to root for her with everything you have. You want to cheer for her, even when you know she is about to make a colossal, life-altering mistake. Her heart is finally, truly in the right place, even if her methods are becoming completely unhinged.